So here we are, we're playing some G, and I've got my usual bunch of pals with me, and some interlopers. Well, an interloper. The cut here, hark, the coming of the second Craig. No gaming group should have more than one Craig, but we've broken the rule. Craig Brits is with us, and he's going to be playing Miles Butler. Ominous name choice there. The OG Craig, the original Craig, Flavor Flav. Craig is also with us. Hello, Mr. Craig.
Hello, I'm here.
He's there. He's not playing the legend that is Blake Smirk. No, who are you playing?
I'm playing Logan Ward.
Logan Ward.
Cross between Max Payne and Dick Tracy at the moment in my head, so see how that goes.
Max Tracy.
Yeah, Dick Payne.
I'm so glad I didn't have anything. Wasn't drinking anything at that moment.
Yeah, my brain thought that and veered off and said, "No, don't do that."
No. So there goes the not safe for work tag, the explicit stuff.
Yeah. I'm changing my character name.
Please do.
By all means do. I'm happy to amend the record. And of course, as ever, we have with us Monsieur Le CORNROW, who is playing. Oh, now let me get my head around a new character, Reyla Keftair.
Yeah, if you think you've got to get your head around her, I've got to hurry up and figure that out too.
And finally, we have William Tarosh. But you're not William Tarosh, you're Nick, and you're not playing William Tarosh. This is the worst intro I've ever done. Who are you playing? I'm
playing Jula Macoy.
Jula Macoy.
Yeah.
See what you did there? I approve. Damn it, I'm a physician, not a role-playing game player. And of course we cannot leave out the legend of SHERPA Steve. But who are you playing now?
I will be playing Sister Margot Saradi, a Bene Gesserit sister attached to House Obscura as an instructor, but arguably as a mentor to the nobility and with ambitions of becoming perhaps the ambassador herself.
Well, that's settled some questions I had going in my head already. So yes, so you join us again for June. It is still House Obscura. We're still on Ecstasy. We're still in the same adventure, but different team because we ended Act 1 last time. So you completed the nerve-wracking execution of the Imperial Art exhibition of the art of Arrakis. I would say as close to flawlessly as you could, avoiding all manner of obstacles, avoiding the embarrassment of an adversarian turning up. All kinds of things were carefully manoeuvred. You even secured Darvo Rund, who's in the household of House Obscura. However, spanner in the works has been that one of Talia Norell's Dune landscapes, Dune landscape number 4, has gone missing. And you know this to be the painting that attracted a lot of attention because I believe it had been seen by your Mentat colleague, Taran Corrado, and you quizzed her on it, I seem to recall. But this piece of artwork needs to be located. It's a piece of artwork that depicts the presence of purple flower on the surface of Dune, which you know to be a very significant, odd occurrence within the planet's ecology. You know that the scene was painted somewhere in the southern hemisphere. I think that's about all you could manage to glean. Now I have some scenes in mind, but I throw it open to you. What would you like to start with? That you have to retrieve the art piece and do it in a timely fashion because the Emperor wants to go home. How would you like to start?
Not saying it's necessarily the first one, but something we should probably do is investigate the scene.
Yeah.
Interrogate the handlers, witnesses.
The Chuckle Brothers.
Exactly.
And Team B of House Obscura, Jula Macoy, Logan Ward, Sister Margot Saradi, Reyla Keftair, and Miles Butler. You have been assigned the task of identifying the perpetrators of this theft, and locating the artwork and retrieving it. You can have a scene with anyone that you want within the house and anywhere you want within the planet Ecstasy that you can imagine. But this is your task. You've been deployed in order to do this. So yes, you could. What you know is that the artwork, what you've been told already, is that the artwork was packed up in the art exhibition space itself after everyone departed. Was picked up and taken to a secure facility, a storage facility in an industrial sort of like sector. Before it was due to be transferred to the Emperor's ship, his vessel. So you could investigate the gallery space or this storage facility, or both. It's one line of inquiry.
Yeah, as the detective, Logan, do we want to follow the scene of the crime, like go to the scene of the crime first and then try to follow it, trace their steps, or do we want to go right to have a team go to the warehouse, split the party, and really make Steve's life difficult?
Whatever makes the GM's life difficult, for sure. We should find where it disappeared, I guess. Did it make it to the storage facility? Because there's no point putting the screws on the Chuckle Brothers if it disappeared after they got it out of their possession. Even though that's a scene I'd love to see.
Screwing the Chuckle Brothers.
Putting the screws on them, not screwing them. Imagine the noise. Good God.
I've got to cut that out as well.
You brought it up.
I did. I made the mistake. We could start off maybe with a short scene where maybe you've had the briefing with Veritas, because of course it's him who's coordinating this action as the House Spy Master, falls within his purview. He's brought you in as the team that has been selected to undertake this sort of like mission. He's given you the full briefing, so you know the facts that you already have at hand, but you have an opportunity to learn more, you can even question the Chuckle Brothers and other technicians who were involved, try and establish what you can before you have to go anywhere. How about that to start with?
Sure.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Now, you can see I've raised some threat because what I always tend to forget is that I should raise one threat per player per game session at the beginning of the game session. You have some momentum left over from last time, which we've already decayed. So on the back of the success of the A team, B team is riding high. So in Veritas' office, which is this open door policy, except for the side door that leads into, we now know, Tehran Carado's office. Tehran may even be behind that door, working furiously on something as we speak, eating vol au vents. We don't know. Because you can't have you playing two characters at once. It'd be nightmarish. You're in his office, and he's laid out all the facts in front of you. He steeples his hands, and purses his lips, and he takes you all in. Any questions? Anything you need to know you haven't covered thus far?
Yeah. Do we know at what point the paintings went missing? Did they make it to the storage, or did they disappear en route?
From what we understand, and I have read the depositions of all the technical assistants, his mind is cast back to reading the reports from the Chuckle Brothers. Point at which it was noted that the painting was missing was during a routine security check at the storage facility.
I see.
The audit logs of transit indicate that 10 paintings left the art exhibition gallery space, and that has been validated and verified through questioning our technicians. And that same number of crates arrived at the storage facility. When the crates, the storage containers were opened up, check, one painting was missing.
How soon after their arrival were they checked?
He sort of like has a little browse through a his sort of like mental record, him being a mentat himself, sort of like recalling through some data files. Seems to be sort of like reviewing. The storage crates were opened by the storage facility team during the security round half an hour after their arrival at the facility, after they'd gone through the clerking in routine with the security bypass, so about 30 minutes.
Okay, and then throughout that 30 minutes, would you happen to know if our technicians had eyes on it through that time, or through the auditing process?
Again, he goes into a bit of a sort of Zen trance, his eyelids sort of light flicker as he recalls the information. To the best of the knowledge that I have available, for 97% confidence that our technicians were there at the time of the storage crates being checked. 98.99, I'd say. It says, giving you a cheeky smile. They were there the whole time. Well, I can gather as to how much attention they were paying to the whole process, on the other hand. If they had eyes on them for every moment that they were there, I couldn't guarantee that. That's where the uncertainty lies.
Does the storage facility... Sorry, I thought you were done. I apologize.
Oh, go ahead. I like to be interrupted.
Does the storage facility use security footage? Is there anything that to scrub? Is there anything to watch?
Have viewed the transmitted, recorded files, and I've had one of my operatives, and he glances next door, who is still going through a lot of the analytical data as we speak, go through the entirety of it. Nothing sinister happens. Storage container is opened. Immediately it's obvious that there is no painting inside. The security team raise the alarm and get on the communet and alert ourselves. It goes through Marshal DeVito's office and comes to me.
So that sounds like it was either swapped on site at the exhibition hall or en route to the storage facility. I don't think they'd have had time or the possibility. They wouldn't. I don't know if they would risk the security at a secure storage facility. Miles,
I'd say they went missing en route or at the facility because we've got records of 10 paintings leaving. There you go. That's my read on it. You're a criminal butler. How would you smuggle out paintings?
Right. If you have contacts who.
Yeah, pretty comfortable in and around storage areas. Potentially, half the time inside job is the way to go. But I'd be comfortable going down there, getting a read on these guys in that facility, see if it happened down there, and then maybe someone else could see if the smuggling happened earlier in the chain.
The best place to seize an asset is often in transit.
Well, there we go. We got 2 things to investigate.
Perhaps we should start reviewing flight logs around that time.
That
Who was
data
our-
is available.
Who was our pilot and any escorts that would have been aboard?
He can give you the name of the security detail, the pilot teams. He gives you the roster, effectively, of the technical team who were there. Everything that you need to know. You can also have the roster of the security team, private security team that did the transport.
Most certainly, yeah. We're gonna need to speak with them.
Mm-hmm.
Are they all accounted for? I know there was at least one face dancer on the premises. Are we 100% certain that they weren't involved?
Well, my records are impeccable when it comes to our own teams and our own services that we provided. On the other hand, I am dependent on others for the record keeping with respect to that team. We're going to investigate that further. And I feel an understand role coming on. Or the deployment of talents around obtaining information.
Yes, please. I have a talent called hyper awareness that allows me to. Let's see if I can throw that in here. How does this come on? Oh, I just click on it. Whenever I spend momentum to obtain information, I can ask 2 questions for every point of momentum, and the limits of what others would be able to notice do not apply to me. Tiny details like micro expressions, and is he nervous, and is he telling me the truth?
Do you want to dig into Veritas lying to you?
No, I'm going to apply this when we start looking at the pilots and things like that. I understand that.
Gotcha. Right.
Veritas working against us here, working against himself. That doesn't make sense.
So it sounds like there's at least 2, maybe 3 avenues of inquiry here. One would be a deployment of a small team, maybe a solo mission for Miles to scope out that storage facility.
Any
The
blind
other-
spots, any kind of security options.
The other would be to check out the stories to locate those personnel who are in the private transport team and interview them. That's where that hyper awareness would really come in. Is best served in a face-to-face interview situation.
100%.
Any other strands of inquiry? Because I got a sense of maybe a third one. But...
And crack that out.
You know where to find the criminal element wherever you go, wherever you are, once per adventure.
For these giant adventures.
Or as we call it, once per act that you are in.
Yes.
You can always contact the criminal underworld or black market as long as there is one in that area. This doesn't mean they will be well disposed towards you. Just that you can find a contact. Oh, you've got options then. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we could try to see if it found its way. Either somebody in the criminal underworld was involved, or if they were actually was this stolen by them, or
This just seems like
they're facilitating.
I mean, I'm not the detective here, but this seems like a crazy thing to steal unless there's a purpose behind it. You'd be better off stealing jewelry or something you can fence, like a massive desert landscape mural. There's got to be a reason why, this one.
Like somebody ordered it.
Right. I mean,
yeah,
it'd be so much easier to take anything else. It'd be easier to get the Emperor out than a giant mural.
I'd be very surprised if a thief did this because they thought it was a cool thing that they could sell.
Take it down the pub to sell it on a weekend.
Right.
If this was
Painted.
if this was stolen by a run-of-the-mill criminal, it was definitely a bespoke service job.
Definitely. I think sounds like this was custom made. So this is a very specific one indeed. So that may narrow the lines of inquiry for our ne'er-do-well team, like Team Ne'er-do-well and the team.
Yes. Sister Margot, says Veritas, you are quite right in your supposition. This clearly was stolen to order. Very few thieves would really know how to go about packing and transporting an art piece, let alone knowing where to fence such a piece, particularly one that has an imperial attachment to it. This is something that I think I might like to farm off to our friend in the basement. I think there might be some lines of inquiry I can follow up there. But I like this idea of connecting with the criminal elements who could have pulled off such a job, given that what they were stealing was practically worthless. From a practical point of view.
Go roll up some of the local mafia / cartel from the slums then. Got a good contact.
Yeah, I mean we could go in friendly. I've got a few contacts in amongst the less well-off Denizens of this place.
So we can. What order do we want to do things in? We can feel like finding out more about the private security firm that had this thing in transit would be a good start.
I would like to speak with them personally and really look them in the eye when they tell me they had nothing to do with it.
We have a truth teller in the making.
There's a moment where just for a second Veritas is about to say something, and then the side door opens, the intervening door between his office and Tehran Corrado's. And Tehran Corrado enters. And he looks at the assembled team, looks up at Spy Master Veritas and says, Master Veritas, I came across this information and I thought it important that you had it immediately. He's got a vol-au-vent in his hand and he hands over the information sort of like flimsy to him, nods deferentially to you all and then steps back. Door closes. My analyst colleague informs me, having done a data search on the community, are the names of all the storage workers and the removal team. 6 are missing.
Oh.
There were additional labourers brought in because of the high-profile nature of the exhibition.
Do we know anything about them, or should we?
Yeah, where were these workers sourced? Yeah.
Do we need to start asking those questions with the security company that hired them?
He's looking over this informational record that has been handed to him by the analyst Kikoru, and he says, all of this smacks to me as if rather than what we might have been thinking, that thieves stole the identities of storage workers, it looks more like they've simply created false names and credentials out of thin air. Data here smells all wrong. There's inconsistencies in a lot of it. These aren't real people. You're not going to find them this way. And he tosses it down on the shiny table and looks annoyed. How are you going to deal with this? He says.
We've still got other 2 leads, haven't we? Right?
Yeah, I mean, the painting must have gone somewhere. Once they've stole it, they've either transported it, so, you know, how often a ship's leaving this planet, and then, or they stored it somewhere.
And those 6 people have to have gone somewhere.
Exactly.
How long ago was... When did we discover the theft? How long ago?
This morning? Yesterday?
This morning, yeah.
And it's... what o'clock?
A couple of hours have passed since the discovery,
Okay.
if that.
Is there any chance, given it were a high, massive high, for the Emperor, this exhibition, is there any chance that the paintings were like tagged or marked? You know what I mean? Chipped or whatever. You think in this like day and age that, I get that there's the cases that the paintings were in, but would the artist have been able to mark anything? Like you're an artist now, you sign a painting, you've got a dog, you put a chip in him. Do you know what I mean? Is it a thing that in this time you'd sign a painting, but it'd have a way to track it or something, or authentication or something like that? I think Sister Margot might have a point that we could do with talking to Anniversarian.
Yeah. Talia Narelle, to answer your question, is incredibly traditional artist working in the medium of paint. The only security that she had attached to her paintings was in the security arrangements of the boxes and hiring secure members of the team. Didn't have the foresight or the paranoia to insist on security countermeasures.
How far is this storage facility from the nearest spaceport?
The storage facility is about a 4-hour flight from the nearest significant spaceport.
Security forces at the spaceport been notified that an important Imperial property should be prevented from making its way off planet at almost all costs.
I'm going to pretend almost that you didn't ask that question. Of course.
I am
All
new
right.
here. I am...
But
Sorry, my previous employers were prone to errors that you probably aren't.
Alright, what I'd like to do then is to try and... Because I think we've managed to narrow it down to disappearing from the warehouse by 6 people that never existed, taking it away. So, there's got to be some record of it moving around, like traffic logs or something, witnesses nearby, so I'd like to go and scope that out somehow.
So a team to take an ornithopter over to investigate on the ground where the storage facility is. Look
Yeah, I mean, these paintings are big, so if they're like crossing roads with it, like in a team, or if they're not doing it that, there's got to be an ornithopter or a van or like a very long bicycle or something. Someone's going to have seen it if we ask around, so...
Good. Veritas says, good. Who are you taking with you, Logan?
Going on by myself. I play by my own rules. No, I'll take whoever wants to come along.
I'm a lone wolf.
Yeah, damn it. No, flip the table. No, I'll take whoever wants to come along. We could all go if you want. I don't mind.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for everybody to go. There might be some different forms of
Unless you
investigation to apply.
did want to go, like, turn up at a local mob office. That could be fun as well. Turn up at a local Yakuza.
Oh yeah, that does. I think maybe we should go and ask around. Has anyone been asked like to move stuff? Has anyone been asked been asking around about a big job lately? Asking about 6 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to all the local bars, one after the other.
Now, I'm all for doing these things sequentially, since by nature of the medium we're involved in, we're going to take the same amount of time.
Indeed.
So we can all go to both, if that seems amenable to everybody.
Yep, we could do that, or you can carve it into 2 and I'll switch between them. I like that kind of stuff.
That's true. And time is of the essence.
Time is of the essence.
Getting off
kind of like, yeah.
Alright, yeah, time's of the essence, so let's split up into... I'll be we're relying on my talent for the criminal thing, so I'll be on
In trouble, yeah.
criminal element.
Alright.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Miles will join you on the criminal.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. The team ne'er-do-well there.
Alright.
Meanwhile, the physician and I, Jula and I, can start making interviews, perhaps of the parties involved. I would really like to talk to Talia Norell and see if anyone approached her about buying the paintings. And then my thought is like, someone wanted to buy them legit. She wouldn't sell. They took it. Who else was interested in this painting, kind of thing.
Well, before we close this scene, we could raise Talia on the community net now, and you could have a live link in and get that done now. And then we could split up and have Reyla and Miles doing their making their gentle inquiries of the less savoury, the seedy underbelly of ecstasy,
The bar crawl.
and then everyone else doing their detective work at the storage facility.
The storage facility, like supporting Logan. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So his hands flash over the input device, keyboard, analog Shortly thereafter, after the Shadout Mapes has been and gone and sort of like supplied you with some refreshments, you have an incoming call and you have a connection with Talia Morel. And she's a little nervous and antsy, as you can imagine. So I'm going to sort of like invoke a trait of deeply worried 2.
Sure.
Because that is what she is, deeply worried 2. Just going to make things more difficult in terms of getting stuff out of her because she's so preoccupied with the prospect of the Emperor being very upset that one of his prize paintings is not going to be in the collection. She comes on the line and she says, have you got an update for me?
Actually, that's just what we were trying to talk about. We have several leads. My name is Sister Margot Saradi. I will be helping the team investigate. And I'd like to make I'd like to talk to you, ask you a few questions about some of the details that may have been mistaken in the initial report.
Haven't got anything new to tell me then. We'll go go ahead and ask your questions, darling.
Thank you. At the night of the party, I'm sure there were so many things going on. Maybe in retrospect, you can provide some clarity about any interested buyers, any individuals who were particularly interested in your paintings. Maybe not even that one, but other paintings wishing to...
Oh, my mind is a whirl. So many things happened, so many people. I'm not sure I can... So many questions that... I'm going to say we're going to need a communicate skill by the sounds of it.
Indeed, I can. I would like to make a communicate test using subtle words. If I succeed, I can then impart a trait for free on that character that I'm talking with.
Okay, so because this is a night after the most important event of her life, and she's had the terminal shock of learning, and is deeply anxious too, as we know. I think this would normally be a D2, but it's a D4 because she's just beside herself. It's a D4 difficulty unless we can start to leverage some ways of reducing the difficulty here.
House trait of discreet.
We are discreet as the house trait. I would love. Yeah, exactly.
I think that goes some way.
Artistic, because you're talking to an artist about her artwork. You know,
I think
you want to talk to her about the paintings and stuff?
Yeah, I think certainly the discretion helps.
Okay.
I definitely think the discretion will help take it down a notch, so we'll take that. That takes it down to 3. Not so sure about the artistic thing, because it's not so much about how much you bond with her over the art or the art itself. This is a theft, and it's the implications of the theft that's just wrong. But if you had a house trait of security or catching thieves, or or something like that, then that would probably be more helpful. But you've got it down to 3.
Okay. I will. If no one has any major objections, we'll take a look at this. I would like to spend 3 momentum to buy 2 extra dice.
Okay.
And roll 4. Sorry, 2 extra dice. Yeah, rolling 4 with a focus of diplomacy for my communicate test.
Nice, definitely.
Hell yeah.
And that's 4 successes.
Oh, and a complication.
Yeah. Do we want to buy that off or see what happens here?
Well, I can tell you what happens, and then you can decide whether you want to buy it off, right?
Okay.
It's the way I understand how it works. I wasn't very happy when I discovered that was the mechanics, but that's how it is.
Tell us the consequences, and we'll see if we want to endure them or not. Yeah.
I think you would detect, because of your hyper awareness, that there's someone in the background where Talia is. You can't see her, but you're picking up some background noises. She seems to be in transit herself. And so the complication seems to be that this conversation is being overheard.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I'll let that play out. Unless
All right.
you guys have another. He's already at 5 threat. I don't want to give him any more for. We could buy
I
that.
really want 6. She's late to the party, but she's coming.
Right.
An adversary parachutes into the sea.
Right. Well, the trait I'm thinking of imparting on Talia is trusting. Like, she's anxious. Yeah, I can't do much about that. Anxious, even if I do one, but trusting us to help her, and she might want, or forthcoming, like, give us some details. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that would be a good counterbalance to the level 2 anxiety.
Yeah.
And makes any role you've got going on with her from now on only
Now
one
she
level of
trusts
difficulty
us.
higher.
Exactly. To go get
Yeah.
it. So I'll put that on her as well. And with sort of soothing her with words, say we've got this in hand. We've got teams working on this, and we will do everything we can to recover this. But the more details you tell us about this, even insignificant details that may seem inconsequential, may be the key to recovering this painting.
I did notice there was a lot of interest in Desert Scene number 4 that I hadn't really counted on. Sort of like odd queries about my use of colour, whether was it that awful man? What's his name? The awful one who came in late.
Baron
You mean the
Luminous.
Baron?
The Baron? Or
Yes,
Baron?
that's him.
The
He
Baron.
had that slinky woman with him. I don't remember her name, but she asked some interesting questions that I found a little odd and just. I'd let them go at that sort of like moment, but sort of like thinking on it now, they were very perceptive. She asked me, was the colour I used for the flowers the colour that I saw, or was it an artistic interpretation? Of course I told her I simply paint what I see. I found that an odd question to be.
It does
Spent
sound
a lot of-
rather. It's very specific.
Well, she spent a lot of time making her way and getting in line, so to speak. There were lots of other people, you must understand, asking
Of
me all
course.
kinds of questions. She waited all that time and only asked me that one question. Were they really purple flowers?
That's wonderful. That I'm sure that will help. We'll take a look at that. That was the Baron de Luminex, and what was his S? I'm looking back through our
Gwendolyn?
the Rosses. Gwendolyn? Does that sound correct?
Yes.
No, I'm absolutely sure that was her name, but it was pronounced with a question mark at the end. Gwendolyn?
Excellent. Thank you. And please feel free to reach out if you can think of any other details, again, however insignificant, may be linking to things we're already seeing.
There was something else. There was that parting comment she made after she asked me that question. That she knew of there was some woman close at hand for quite some time wanting, well, she seemed in the group interested in my artwork and asking me.
Of course.
But I did notice she seemed far more interested in your ambassador. And I didn't see her after that. Very long, sort of grey, slate grey dress she was wearing. can't even really put a finger on why I think that was relevant. Only they seem to be talking to each other, this Gwendolyn and this woman who wasn't around for very long and seem more interested in speaking to your ambassador than being at my art exhibition.
Oh yes, I do recall. It was.
Torres?
Torres, yeah.
Oh, I couldn't find it. I'm looking desperately back to the chat log here. I'm trying to find the actual.
It's Torres. I'm sure it was Torres. I mean, or something. Varia. That's it. Varia Torres.
Varia Torres. Yes, I do recall. She did get that meeting with the ambassador. Thank you for bringing that to our attention as well.
Oh, well, I'm glad, I suppose, but why come to an art exhibition if all you have to do is meet up with her? I suppose she was just there with her friend Gwendolyn, I suppose.
Well, when the Emperor shows up, I'm sure there are a lot of people taking political advantage and wanting to stand in your light that you cast.
Is that what you think this is? This is motivated as a political scheme to leverage against...
We haven't ruled anything out yet.
You'll keep me up to date when you have something concrete.
That's exactly why I called you today. The more details we have, we'll keep you up to date.
If I remember anything, I'll let you know.
Please do. You can reach out to myself or to, and she'll give Talia her Communinet code, or you can leave messages with Master Veritas if you're more comfortable with that.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Sister Margot.
You can just call me Margot, please. And very kind of ingratiating, kind of very, that turning on the...
Yeah. Depending on the charm.
Trying, as much as you can with a panicked artist who has lost a major piece. Yeah. And yes, as far as momentum goes, we needed a 3 and I got a 4, so I'll throw 1 back there.
Yeah, take your 1 on top. You got nice rolls there.
Man, that was about as good as I could hope to get with D3 or D4.
So, I know that I'm new here, but do I correctly understand that the Baron's girlfriend was buddy-buddy with the face dancer?
That's what I was getting. Or
That
she was buddy
raises-
with Varia Torres. We don't know that she knew it was a face dancer.
Touche.
We can't
Put her on the list.
assumptions.
We'll put the
we
screws on
can't-
her as well.
100% on the list, but we can't assume that she knew anything.
But the assassin, the face dancer, is here somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll put the screws on her too.
Yeah.
That's 4 people to put the screws on.
At least.
Yes, she's sedated and held in a secure on-site facility within the house complex.
Mm-hmm.
You can wheel her in whenever you like. Have a scene with her whenever you like, pretty much.
We'll just break out the Aztec. We'll just break out the Aztec death whistle and put those on her ears for 24 hours and see if she softens
For sure.
a bit. Yeah.
Well, she's on ice. She's not going anywhere. But the clues at the scene of the crime, the trail's going cold,
They're
so we
getting
should
cold.
get our
100%.
asses over there.
All right.
Move our assets over there. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Let's see what we did there. So, unless there's any further prevarications, let's cut scene then.
Actually, on the way out the door, Margot would like to have one last word with Veritas as the team is leaving.
Sure.
Not a prevarication.
Sorry, I tried to
I
re-verify
should have
before I
offered you the attempt. I should. Go on.
Just
Veritas
just
is
wondering
sister.
how far do you want us to take this? How serious is this? We'll go to
How
whatever
serious is
lengths
it?
you say, but do you want bodies stacked up on this, or do you want this to be as clean as we can? How serious is
Only
this?
if absolutely strictly necessary should lives be taken. And if that turns out to be strictly necessary, then take them.
Very well.
Am I clear? I'll make the judgment call as to whether you decided whether it was appropriate or not. It's my purview.
Of course.
The eyeballs you a bit. Now we'll end scene then.
If there's nothing further, I will leave you in the grave. Yes.
So we'll cut scene then. Momentum decay. And let us have let's move to the scene with let's do Reyla, shall we, and Miles. I believe you were wanting to make some inquiries of people of an unscrupulous nature. You want to physically travel over to one of to an area you know is sort of replete with ne'er-do-wells. Do you want to particularly go and find, sort of like a known underworld contact? Find trouble. That's what you were going to use, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you want me to put that back up, or is it's close
So
enough?
I'm scrolling up.
So
You can
we'll
always
go find.
contact. You want a criminal underworld, as in a sort of like notorious thief type person, or people who really know about, was their finger in the pulse of what goes on happening, or do you want someone in the black market?
I'd like to know if a major heist was going on, who would know about that?
Yeah, you know
Or
someone.
actually,
who has
what might be a good angle, and I'll discuss this with Miles, is should we try to find somebody who's good with forging documents and information and might have gotten those 6 people created?
I mean, that's one way to do it. I think it's probably not my speciality, but absolutely, I think that's one way to do it. The other way would be to work out where these 6 people came from. Someone with their fingers on the pulse in the underworld. 6 guys who are quality people to pull off a heist of these kinds. Surely that's going to be
6 trustworthy people that have disappeared in the last 2 hours, that have disappeared overnight.
Trustworthy, capable people.
That's a good idea. I think so. Who would I know that would have a good idea of personnel and movements of the key players that could be trusted for a job like this?
First name that comes to your head is somebody who's informally referred to as the broker.
The broker.
They're easy to find. They never do anything untoward themselves, but they basically are the person that you go to in order to find people to do unsavory or difficult sort of like tasks. They're the sort of they're the deal maker. They put you in touch with teams and people that you need. They're ideal for this. So the broker is the person you want to speak to. And they operate in plain sight. They have a day job as administrator. in a art museum space, like the National Art Gallery. They are front of house, sort of an administrator for. So you can pay a visit to that.
So I know somebody who might have information in this regard that we can go visit. But unless you're really bad at talking, I'm going to introduce you and then let you do the talking. Because I don't talk.
Okay. Yeah, I can talk my way out of trouble. I think we just need to come up with an angle, because knowing these kind of people, they're not going to easily give up their information. They tend to be pride themselves on being tight-lipped, following a job. Have we got any leverage or anything?
I have a squad of inexperienced conscripts that I'm supposed to be training.
Oh, I mean, time is of the essence. We can just go wing it and see what happens.
We can always threaten to have the squad of inexperienced conscripts wander around and make things inconvenient. I don't know how effective that will be, but...
Yeah, I think the brokers allowed to operate on this planet. The House Obscura he's not going to want your House Obscura as an enemy.
So, can we book an ornithopter pilot and get a ride out? Unless you fly ornithopters?
I've got a boat. I mean, is it by mistake?
Yeah, I mean, Ecstasy has a very significant water situation. Lots of islands, so you could certainly take your water vessel.
Absolutely.
I think if I remember correctly, your water vessel isn't plastered with House Obscura colours, so it's able to be discreet.
Yeah, so I think we can go in discreetly.
Yeah, so it's much more like any other sort of like maybe it's a little. But what would you like your water vessel to be? Do you want to be sort of like a little pleasure boat, or a sort of working vehicle, like a transport supply vehicle? What would you like your water vessel to be?
I'll picture more of a pleasure boat. I don't think he does loads of cargo smuggling. Smuggles mainly artwork and stuff like that. Generally. So, yeah, a rich person looking.
All right, yeah. So it's a very innocuous looking vessel. It's not house branded. It doesn't scream House Obscura at all. It looks like a little pleasure sort of light vessel, and you're able to take it and pay a visit to the broker. And it's a short walk away from the docks into a very pleasant sort of communal space. This area that you're in is for intellectual pursuits. So there's a university, there's a library. But there were also museums, art, exhibition spaces, conference centres, and so on and so forth. So it's like a sort of like mini campus for intellectual pursuits. One of the other areas of Ecstasy that it really centres on is expanding the mind. And in this sort of this gallery space, this quite impressive gallery space, as you enter, you find that there's quite a busy scene ahead of you. It's like someone has got an out of class. There's a sort of some kind of school trip going on ahead of you. Yes, sort of like gaggles of children are being herded around by enthusiastic teachers, and are being sort of like shimmied through the foyer space as members of the art gallery museum sort of like staff are assisting in this sort of like process. So it's quite noisy and busy sort of like at the moment. So the traits I'm leveraging for this, so this is a public space, and there's a school trip going on at the same time, which might create some advantages or disadvantages depending on what you try and do.
Is the broker visible?
Yeah, the broker has like an information booth. And they're sat there, and they're just handing out some information to a very tired-looking school teacher who is then running after half a dozen students. Yes, they catch your gaze as you head over. There's an unconscious recognition.
I don't feel like I need to do an obtain information right now, but I want to use a trait related to one. So I'm going to put it in the chat, and maybe we can figure out how mechanically this might work. So my headspace on this is I'd like to use the fact that there's so much going on and so much cacophony that the broker is distracted.
Is that you trying to apply putting theory into practice, are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to do that, given that there's no real reason to do an obtain information roll at this point that I can think of.
No, but one might come up.
Right. Yep. I'll keep that in my pocket.
Yeah, I think let's keep it in your pocket. Keep it in mind.
Good stuff. Okay. So I will walk up to the kiosk where this fellow is located.
Yeah, he's just saying goodbye to a tired-looking teacher who's running after some kids. Children, don't run in the corridor. And the broker, his badge says his name is Harris Clementin.
Harris, it's good to see you. Looks like we caught you at a bit of a busy time.
It is. Have you decided to take me up on the offer of expanding your mind for once?
Unfortunately, we've got very pressing issues today. This is my
Disappoint me.
colleague. I'm sorry, but I will take you up on it, I promise.
Shouldn't be so business oriented all the time. Every time with you, it's work.
This is one of those times that it's critical. I apologize for the times that I've said it's critical, but this time it really is.
Sure.
This is my colleague Miles. And we have some questions that we're hoping you could help us with.
He kind of looks about. Well, I haven't got a lot of time here. The next party is due in about 10 minutes, but sure, go ahead.
All right, Harris. This is quite a delicate matter. Is there anywhere else we could talk about?
I haven't got time to. I can't hop out of the booth because of the school trips. We just
Well,
have
cut to the chase then.
to deal with it. He says.
You're a busy guy, and then I guess Miles will lean in and say, "Listen, we know about the job. Fixed, capable blokes, or girls. Tasked with a big job. You know that's gone south. So we need names, we need locations. We're in a rush. We need it soon. And you're going to try play off that deceit.
Now this is a communicate skill if I've ever seen one. You're gonna need to persuade him to give something up. So you're gonna need a communicate skill. What kind of what's driving you here, Miles?
So either justice is what you can get away with. He's kind of, he's trying to deceive this guy, saying that he knows more than he does about it, trying to get away with that.
Yeah.
Or there's more. Or there's that I serve at the pleasure of the house. Because he is doing it for the house, but I think justice wants this a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's your pick. Either of those seem sort of like fit for me. So, which would you like to take to apply with your communicate?
Okay, so I'll take justice, and justice is what it is.
All right, and now he's the broker. He is sort of like there to do deals. He's under a bit of pressure because of the whole school trip and being in a public space. It would have been a D1, but it's a D3 because of the situation.
Okay.
So anything you can think of to leverage that. This is maybe where that. This is not. Just having a look at Reyla's putting theory into practice. When you obtain information. So it's not going to work here yet.
So, trait-wise, can we apply discreet? In the sense that we have a reputation for discretion, and that if he deals with us, he doesn't need to worry about
Yeah, he knows.
business.
Yeah, he knows that you are trustworthy people because of your discretion. So that takes it down to a D2. Any personal traits on?
So just that focus is deceit. I don't know how the focus is.
You've got a focus of discreet.
Of deceit, sorry. So he's trying to play off that he knows more about this job than PCR, and he only needs to do this name.
Okay, so that gives you an increased chance of having a crit when you roll. So you should take yes to focus.
Okay,
That
right.
seems to fit. Yeah. Yeah. So
I guess
you
it's
want to
a
make a
D2.
roll. Yeah, it's a D2.
Okay, so I'm rolling 2 dice. Is that right?
Yeah, unless you want to take, you've got 3 points of momentum. You could take a point of momentum and get an extra dice.
Yeah, I'll be able to take 1 if everyone else is.
Yeah, no worries.
Three dice.
Yo.
What do we do? Oh, hey.
Oh,
So that's a success. That's a success. But there is a complication.
How so?
Oh no, hang
That's
on.
a-
I just saw a
that's
0.
That's a 13, not a
It's a 13, not a complication.
not a 20. Just two
I just see
successes.
red. The other game that I have. I see
I think
red
if
and
it's
it does it.
Okay.
Nice try.
I think if it was red with a complication, it would actually show. Or just no, it's always successes. 'cause
It doesn't. Yeah, it's just a,
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's either a
It's
pass
always
or a
zero.
fail.
Yeah. So you got to keep an eye open for the complications. Yeah. In that tiny little squiggly font.
Yes, very tiny.
Still, it's a
Okay.
D2 and 2 successes, so a pass.
Yes, absolutely. So that momentum is spent. Nicely done. Okay, so what's your goal? What's your goal with communicating with him here? Would you say? You know, what does success look like for Miles? Do you think?
Well, I mean, the absolute success would be names these guys and locations, but I think that's out of probably like out of room's possibility. But just an acknowledgement of that he knows that sick people were asked for, maybe like where they were sourced from, Yeah.
Okay.
If,
Get the idea
yeah.
of what you're aiming for. That's kind of what I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's just discreetly passing you some art gallery information. Making it look that what you're doing is just an ordinary query. As he says, this is one of the strangest jobs that's been pulled on ecstasy in a long time. Because nobody on ecstasy pulled off this job. Been
Right.
done by someone outside. Off-worlders, I'd say.
Okay.
Do we,
I guess.
However, and I know that you lot are really good at what you do, I might be able to throw something more specific your way if you could make it worth my while.
what would you find interesting?
I really could do with putting the dampeners on one of my competitors who's recently getting a bit too big for his own boots. He's taking my clientele away from me with lower prices. When you lower the prices, you lower the quality of the goods, don't you?
I grin widely. I had no idea that the art gallery for grade school business was so competitive.
Fiercely competitive. He says, sort of like smiling and handing over yet another instructional leaflet. Maybe you want to consider going to see the postmodern exhibition, he says, as another member of staff walks past. Excuse me.
You can certainly look into the operations of this other competitor of yours, and if there's anything that coincides with jurisdiction of our house, make things a bit difficult for him.
Well, can't your marshal send out some troops who might get a bit heavy-handed and send them a firm message that he's to change his base of operations? It's more of what I was after.
I feel like I'd need to authorize that, but it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, just call
You
Brava
wanna-
and have him done for fun. He'd do it for fun.
I have the people that can do.
Well, we're agreed then. You'll take care of that.
Yeah, as long as I don't find out that this person's like incredibly well connected or some other dangerous surprise or wrinkle that you should be telling me about.
Well, I'd be upfront and let you know. I'm an honest broker.
I do like working with you.
Yeah, it's always work with you, isn't it? Work. Makes you
Sadly.
dull, you know.
Ugh.
You're far too handsome a woman be dull as well.
I always thought that looking like this meant that I really didn't have to put much effort into pretending I understood art, but maybe you're right.
Well, because this is kind of, you are getting information out of him. Once per scene, when you obtain information, and you're going to get some information out of him, you may create a trait for free, and it links into this newfound knowledge.
So I'm going to lean into him talking about my handsome woman status and say that he's a bit smitten with me.
Alright. So it's an advantage and opportunity. He's a bit smitten with you. Smitten 1. Which means the difficulties of being in a public place, there being a school trip around, which is already, I think, isn't that also already being counteracted by another trait that you've already put into place?
House discretion trait.
House
was doing
discretion,
something for it.
1, 2. Well, you can do an obtain information, so this would be what, an understand roll.
Sure.
And it will be now at a D0.
Sounds good. And I'm just looking at my drive statements.
What does make Reyla tick?
I think for this one it might be her faith statement, because she's taking advantage of a situation that's not really up her wheelhouse in terms of combat, but she feels that I can use anything or train anyone to fight. So
Okay.
she has faith in her own abilities to use to kind of struggle and use whatever's available to achieve victory in the situation.
Okay, like that.
All right, so I'll do an understand with faith, with few dice, and focus-wise, I don't think danger sense or traps applies here.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, 1 success.
Everyone stares at the 0 to see if it's a complication. No.
Does everybody everybody?
I do. Zoom in. Use
Yeah.
the zoom function on my eyes. Okay.
Zoom function on my neck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a success. So you get a point of momentum because it was a D0.
Yeah. Or a follow-up question to whatever you tell me now.
Sure. We're kind of doing this in reverse, putting theory into practice, because like we did the trait before we did the obtain information, right? But never mind.
Yeah, we came at it a little weirdly this one, but
Yeah, coming at it weirdly. It's our job, right?
we are the B-Team.
We
do
are
come
the
at-
B-Team, yeah.
That's our coming at it weirdly. We are the B-Team. There's the motto.
So he says, can't really sort of like speak to as to who these outsiders are, who these off-worlders are. I don't know that, but I do know that there's been some trouble. There's been some upset. There's a fence I know who's been approached with the most stupid bloody request I've ever heard, which is how much is a 10 by 8 original Talia Norell painting worth on the open market? And I can give you the name of the idiot who asked that question.
should get you a shakedown for that competitor.
Should get me, or will get me.
Do you want to give me 5 minutes to do a verification and an authorization?
Yeah, I do, and then I'll give you the name.
Fair. I'll be right back. So
Better deal with this customer. Leaflets,
Yep.
madam.
I just need to go check prices at another competing gallery, but I'll be right back.
Okay, so you sort of like step out, and there's an exhausted-looking teacher with a gaggle of school children. Sort of like comes in. You've there now. Really, it being busy and there's a school trip going on works in your advantage because you can have a discreet conversation with a lot of background noise.
I look at the school teacher and Miles, I don't know about you, but I'm glad I picked something easy like guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use my CommuniNet to ping Veritas and make sure it's okay for me to shake down this other competitor.
Asking for permission to.
To save you a call, Margot would definitely have informed you that we're given near carte blanche to solve this, and shaking down someone else would be within our purview. They're leaving it to our discretion. I apologize. I should have, it was implied that I would tell you all that.
Standing orders.
I didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Standing orders would be like.
It's a delay in the CommuniNet pager,
Sorry.
but it comes up as a delayed message. Beep beep. Terrible reception in this section of the gallery. Yeah, comes through.
That's good enough for me. And my conscript should be able to handle that. Unless he's got a lot more security than he's letting. But Harris would have told us if there was a security.
Absolutely. Let's get that done and get this fences in.
Yeah. So we're gonna we're gonna get in line and wait for Harris to be available.
Absolutely. Let's briefly, as you queue up, waiting for these kids to be processed, cut over into our other scene where we find. Where we find Sister Margot, Logan Ward, and Jula Macoy. Getting my head around everybody's new names. So you're on the scene. You're investigating the secure storage site, if I remember correctly. Would have piloted a House Obscura vehicle, I presume. Maybe taken an ornithopter over there, so it's just a 10-minute flight, I guess.
Panda car.
Panda car.
Yeah.
Panda car, did you say? Or
Panda, yeah, panda.
Oh, panda car. Okay. You could have taken a road vehicle. Taken a bit longer. That's up to you. Who's driving? Has anyone got vehicle skills?
That's a good question.
No, not it. I look to the detective.
Sure, why
The
not?
detective's car.
I shall decide what my move skill is now. It's
Yeah, there you go. You could be the...
We've got an opportunity. Yeah.
So this is the point. Yeah.
yeah. It turns out
In the
he's
focus of
totally
chauffeur.
average at flying an ornithopter.
It doesn't
But-
have to be an ornithopter if you want. You can have it as a land-based vehicle move.
Sure. No, it probably is an ornithopter, isn't it? I mean, although we are just the B-Team, so maybe it is like
Yeah,
just.
if you're on bicycles.
You guys are
Yeah.
stuck using public transit.
Yeah,
Got
we're
a
on the
bus
tube.
pass. You know?
You get a bus pass. Here you go, guys. You'd like to requisition an ornithopter. Nope.
Yeah, like a
No,
SWAT
sorry,
van.
we spent
You
our
know.
budget on the A-team. Here's your bus pass. Sorry.
Yeah, it's one of those SWAT vans where there's two drivers at the front and just benches in the back of the van.
Okay.
Flashing lights.
Right.
Siren.
Okay. Yeah. All that. Now you're heading into an area that is, it's an industrial area, which tends to be a bit seedier, a bit riskier. Not as risky as, strangely enough, going to the art exhibition gallery spaces. Oh, maybe a bit riskier. I don't know. It's a bit of a seedy place, anyway. Really,
Perfect.
it's not front of house for ecstasy at all. More behind the scenes, really. So I'm just going to put this as I'm going to generate some traits for this scene, and that is low life 2. There's a lot of dubious people about. Yeah,
Not
that'll do
including
me.
us.
Not including you. No, I'm not. No, you're just adding to it. All right, low life 3. Hang on. No, low life 2 is what it's quite a lot of chain link fencing and really quite brutalist architecture. It's like House Barragan again. And
It's everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of corners, street corners, and sort of squat, ugly buildings where no one's really paid attention to the architecture. It's all very functionalist. Quite a
Tourists don't
lot.
really come down this way.
No, not at all. And you drive down there in your vehicle. Now, navigating exactly to the right sort of like spot and getting sort of like through sort of like safely. This is a D1. Help you build up some
Okay.
momentum as you enter this scene.
We'll warn you though that Logan is having a hard-boiled detective in a monologue moment the whole time he's driving, so he's not totally focusing on the room.
Oh, great, yeah.
The whole case is rotten like an old ham.
Yeah,
6 people who don't exist and a missing painting, off-welders involved. In the middle of the web,
complication or a piece of
Gwendolyn. The woman in the slate dress, turning heads for all the wrong reasons. So he's just thinking about that as he's driving along.
I think you've just raised the difficulty level by insisting on having a constant monologue.
Oh yeah.
But D1,
I've
D1 is what's
I've
driving
been playing
you?
that Chicken Police game, so I'm all up for internal
Yeah.
monologues. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you going for with a drive?
Move, I think.
No, a drive.
Oh,
Move
a
is the skill.
drive. Where does that?
I know it's a bit complicated because
That's normally on the focuses, isn't it? Is that on the focuses?
Your
the
drive statement.
It's
Is it
above
Where
the
truth?
skill.
Oh, that goes
Justice.
up there. Yeah, I've only got one,
Those fellas.
so I'm gonna have to think.
Ah, you've got to create a drive as well.
Oh boy.
So, which drive have you got? Is it justice, truth?
As the
Let's
detective,
go
we
with
need
truth.
to find out the.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
go with
you'll
truth.
yeah.
I'll put
Literally
that as...
driving yourself to find out the truth.
Yeah, I'll
very
put that
driven
as...
as a child.
There's a good
so
statement.
makes
I am
sense.
driven. I am driven to find the truth.
I am driving myself to find out the truth.
I've always been driven. Now I'm driving them.
You muted
You
yourself, by the
muted,
way. Either you're going into a mime phase, or you hit mute.
Oh yeah, it's because I'm pressing random buttons. So yeah, I'll go with truth. I'm not got a drive statement though, I might have to think about that. I don't want it to be about driving cars. So,
Yeah, you
Um,
can just decide. You don't have to worry about the drive statement right this second.
okay, so 2 dice.
I can assist you if you want an assist.
Yes,
That's
please.
quite good.
Try and keep him from like drifting off into reverie the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's fine. You can drive on autopilot.
Cool.
Yeah,
It's a 17. It's fine. It's
not a
fine. 17's
complication.
fine.
It was not difficult enough to be a complication.
Oh, thank God.
Excellent, and you rolled a 1 by Jiminy, so you got 2 successes. So you got a bonus point of momentum. And are you assisting?
I can
And
do
how?
to. Well, what I was thinking is to just use my discipline to just try and keep cool in the
shit
car.
together.
Yeah,
Not make it
not
worse.
like not make us criticise his driving and not constantly say watch the road, watch the road.
That's a red light. Yeah.
I think that
Should
was
only
it.
turn left on an amber. Oh. Yeah.
Red lights were blazing out like gunshot wounds in the dark.
Yeah, definitely discipline.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
use discipline.
So I'm getting the sense that Logan is a bit of a. He feels to me
Reckless. Feels a
like,
bit reckless.
yeah, he's a bit of a loose cannon.
Yeah, I'm going to put
So-
on the personality traits, loose cannon.
Loose cannon.
Loose cannon.
Loose cannon. I love it.
There we go, that's
And he
done.
drives. He drives in a loose cannon style. One arm out the window.
Yes. The loose cannon style, yeah.
Yeah, so go for it. What kind of? So discipline is definitely the.
Yep, I'm going to use my justice, which is everybody deserves a chance. So
I'm
we
really
might get there.
Ah,
We
that's
might
a-
get there. It might be all right.
sense of
Awesome.
Don't
justice. Yeah.
criticise his driving. He's doing
It's the first
all right.
time you've ridden with him, maybe. So
Yeah,
you don't want
yeah.
to prejudge. Oh, I love it.
And I'm going to use my focus of self-control to try to like
Definitely
know,
fits. Yeah,
not-
yeah.
fart or whatever.
Not gasping when he goes, you know, like when you're trying to drive and there's someone
Not do
panicking in
that
the seat
double
next to
brakes
you.
thing on the floor with my
Yeah,
feet.
go on.
Yeah.
Go on. So it's
There we go. Hell yeah.
nice
Oh,
and that's
nice.
as well, right?
Hell yeah. 2 more.
So we can either bank that momentum or use it to find a really good parking spot.
Hey,
Yeah,
this is
we
turned
could.
into Modifius's new game, Police Squad,
Parking.
Yeah, absolutely.
2D20. Lieutenant Drebin always fails his parking role.
Not this time. I'm going to like do one of those handbrake turns into like a parallel parking spot for sure.
Oh yeah.
Necessarily flashy parking. That's really
Yeah.
discreet.
Yeah,
Excellent.
the Ace Ventura move.
Yeah.
And as you arrive, outside this facility, there is, I imagine there's, it's like a four-way intersection. Businesses on 3 corners. The other corner is a rather lousy-looking convenience store. And what little of little sort of actual housing, as it were, is alongside that. And it's a bit rowdy looking outside the convenience store. You notice, there's some younger types who have yet to find their way in life. They look like a bunch of street gang hoodlums, really. Though, as I said, this is low life too. You can see evidence of that in the vicinity. But you are parked up outside the storage facility. High chain link, sort of like fencing. Nothing more high tech than that, really. How are you approaching? What are you doing?
Following the detective.
Pressure.
Do these hoodlums look like they've probably been here for say, since this morning? Because then I might just
The-
stride over and
David-
question them.
I mean, at first glance, you look at them and you think, this is their corner, this is their hood, this is their turf.
Oh, if it's their
Look
turf,
like
I'm
the
definitely going to
local
go
gang.
talk to them. I'll drag over the Doctor and the Bene Gesserit over to the local street gang.
This is the start of a really obscure Frank Herbert Jr. The Bene Gesserit, the detective.
The physician.
Yeah, and the physician walk over to a gang of youths.
Yeah. Ward, Logan Ward, we have some questions for you.
Alright, so as I said, there's half a dozen of them. young lads. Yeah, and they seem to be dressed in whatever the young youth hip style of ecstasy is. I don't know what it is, but it's a very niche and very stylish. And there's probably saggy pants and sort of chains and colours.
You just described my A-level outfit.
Did I just describe? I'm doing my best
made
here.
of midriff showing t-shirts made of mesh and very hairless gloves. They're very tough.
It's the whole lot. There's an unnecessary. There's mohawks.
One giant purple mohawk. Yeah.
9 Inch Nails t-shirt.
Yeah, there's this young kid with a Jesus and the Mary Chain t-shirt. And he's eyeballing. He's got the eyeliner, but also what looks like a sort of like black camo stripe over his nose. God knows what he daubed that in. He sort of like spits on the ground and gets up from his seat, which was merely the concrete steps leading up into the convenience store with its garish neon underlighting, proclaiming that whatever it does for 24 hours, 7 days, whatever the cycle period of ecstasy is. And he says, what brings you here? What you are? The local gang youth dialect lingo that I just made up.
Yeah, I like it.
Jamaican. No trouble there.
No trouble at all. We just want to ask some questions, isn't that right? This is your turf, I'll come to you. So you're the top dog, you know what's going on. We're looking for stolen goods. Big old painting taken from, we'll point at the nearby storage yard.
He sort of like looks over at it and looks at you, and I mean, painting doesn't really seem to enter into his vocabulary, but he recognises the sort of like storage warehouse, and he recognises the idea of theft, for damn sure. And he says, yeah, maybe I know something, maybe I know nothing. Gonna have to make some kind of, you're gonna have to bribe him or persuade him or intimidate him.
Sure. I was looking at maybe choosing one of my assets. Isn't there one that's like debtor?
Yes, there is someone who owes you a favour. Or owes you a bit more than that, yeah.
Sure, I'll do what I'm thinking is that Logan works these streets a lot. He's arrested a few of these people before, he's let them go, he's taken bribes off them maybe, who knows. And one of them owes him a favour because he caught him doing something and took him in and then let him off with a slap on the wrist.
I love that. And in fact, the person that you let off and gave a slap on the wrist to was one of the Reynolds brothers, and this is his older brother, Jeremy Reynolds. His younger brother, Ryan, is the one that you constantly had to slap on the wrist.
Yeah. So I'll do that.
So you can use that asset, and that makes... So, the asset is... Oh, let's pull that up. What does that give you? Head into the old compendium. Better. As an asset...
I think it's written more as someone who literally owes you money, but I'm going at it more from a
favor.
Owing a favour, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you can call in this debt and force them to provide you with something in return. Once burned, or once the favour has been called in, The relationship between the agent and the asset is usually done burned. Okay, so as long as you don't mind earning
Well,
Jeremy Reynolds as an asset.
it says you can do this gradually, always insinuating that the loan you extended to them is about to be withdrawn, or you can do it suddenly, demanding payment now. So I'll try and insinuate it first and see how it goes.
All right.
In an attempt to have my cake and eat it.
And if I can
So this, yeah, go on.
assist afterwards, I like to roll as well, sort of like as
Sure.
the Bene Gesserit kind of cold stare at them.
Okay, so I'm going to do this as a little mini social conflict. He is not a major NPC, so it's not an extended task, so it's going to be quite easy to do this. But I will set, if you like, the difficulty level, because it will depend on how he goes. I'm going to spend a threat to give him an extra dice, so he's going to get 3d20. Bum, bum, bum. And he's resisting with his discipline. Going to be that much. How did he do? He got a 1 and a 1 and a 15. He got 2 1s.
Wow.
2 crits. Wow. He's hard as nails, Jeremy Reynolds. He doesn't like seeing his brother being, he's grateful and everything, but you're the fuzz. You're everything he detests. You're the oppressor, man. The revolution will be televised on the Communinet. You've seen some of your House Obscura colleagues doing nasty things on the Communinet. He's got your number. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. Difficulty rating 4. I will say that him being an Essex, you've got his attention. What it does is that it completely obliterates that low life you're up against, because it's just you and him. So it's just a D4. It's not going to get completely over the top. But if you want anything you can leverage trait wise here.
Sure, I'm a loose cannon. He doesn't know what I might do. I might just shoot him right now.
You might just. He doesn't. Yeah, no.
I might go to Ryan Reynolds and chuck him straight in the slammer or the canal. Who knows? Could do anything.
So he's running the risk. All right, yeah, I like that. So that makes it a D3. Anything could happen in the next 10 seconds.
D3. Can you only lower difficulty once?
No, if you could leverage other things and make a case for it, you can.
I was going to say we're discreet so that we won't get him into prison. But I just said I'm a loose cannon and just totally... No. Yeah, I totally got rid of that one. No, that's totally fair. I might just have to go for 3 dice, and I'm going to need that assist from the sister, I think.
Got an assist coming in, yeah, because there's the ominous threat of a big gang of teenagers.
Can we both assist as well if we want to? Or is it one person? Forget which game.
I think more than one person can assist. What do you
That
mind?
makes
There's no. The only limit is like the reasonable amount of like.
Sure.
Obviously,
Cool, okay.
people not in the scene can't assist, but anybody there.
Yeah. Looks you can come up with a rationale for it that makes sense. I'm good with it.
Put the sister in a sister.
Is this a communicate roll? Shit.
Yes, it's communicate.
Oh, you're in so much trouble, aren't you?
I'm not actually good at communicating though. I should have just smacked him one. I'd have been good at that.
You're a loose cannon. Your gun does the talking.
I'll tell you what.
Stick a Mala pistol in his face and be done with it.
I've got a las gun burning a hole in my pocket.
I'll accept battle because it's like you could be intimidating,
like physically intimidating him. Yeah.
Sure. My focus is dirty fighting.
Allowed to be said.
So yeah, this is all below the belt.
Can I chip him with a talent that might help?
Please.
We have to wait for the roll.
Pop it in. Yeah, no, stick it in.
I would like to attempt a skill test to detect danger. No, I know these guys aren't hidden, but detect danger as in, are they getting weapons out? Blah, blah, blah.
Concealed weapons, hidden stuff like that.
Yeah. So
Oh,
if I can
that
use
is
that,
lovely.
I can.
Whenever you attempt a skill test to detect danger or hidden enemies, you reduce the difficulty by 2 to a minimum of 0. In addition, once per scene, when the enemy chooses to keep the initiative, you increase the cost to do so by +2. Wow!
Mm-hmm.
That kind of implies to me that you do whenever you attempt a skill test to detect danger, that as Logan and you all are sort of like walking up to this gate. I imagine you get out of the vehicle. It's got those really cool pop-up.
I've got gull-wing doors.
Gull-wing doors. Yeah, because they're so cool.
Brilliant.
It was the best
Yeah,
thing about
hell
that.
yeah.
The DeLorean was the gull-wing doors.
Yeah.
Takes us ages to get out because we're like
Yeah,
leaning
it
down
does,
and
yeah.
climbing out.
And you're kind of expecting to head over to the storage facility, the three of you, and then he just barrels straight over the road. You know, there's a few other vehicles going. You would, he just jaywalks straight across the road.
Yeah, well,
you would.
Jeremy.
You would have the opportunity to do,
Do
just
this on the way.
scan. Yeah, do it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
do
okay,
we haven't touched the momentum yet. He doesn't want to use 3, so potentially
Yeah,
there's
I'll
2.
put 3 to
maybe,
one side, but I'm eyeing
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
If you want to do an understand.
Sure, I'll do an understand. I mean, I don't know if I want to use. I'm looking at. I feel like everybody deserves a chance. Is just what I'm using for Logan constantly as
All
a
situations.
drive.
Yeah.
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 I do understand.
So
I'll do
everyone
the-
deserves a chance to ambush me?
yeah. I'm like, he's not going to go up and shoot that child, surely.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And then I'll use
Use a loose
a
cannon.
focus of observe again, and I'll buy 1 dice with 1 momentum. It's going to give me 3 dice.
Right. Bank of threat is
Observe.
open if you want to make a deposit. By the way.
No,
just
thank
so
you. I'm not waiting for her to parachute in with a ruined bond. Okay, let's try that. Hell yeah.
Oh, sheesh.
Oh my.
Well, that's
Massive
the
one as well.
What was the difficulty again?
It's a bit of a moot point, nearly. You've rolled all that. Yeah, it's always a good idea to check out the difficulty before
Yeah, I
you determine
realised.
your dice pool.
Well, because you said there were low life 2,
Low life 2.
so I reduce it by 2 to a minimum of 0, unless there's any more.
I mean, it would have been a D1 observation, so it would have been D3.
So it would have been 3. So I reduce it to D1. I spent 1. So we had those because you didn't spend them yet. I spent 1.
Yeah,
And then I got
quite a lot of
That many.
bonus.
Yeah, so what happened again? I've my head fell away from the maths.
4 extra momentum there, so you passed it.
4 extra.
You made
momentum.
5 successes on a D1 test, so it's 4 successes.
Hell yeah.
4 extra points. You can use those to create a trait, create an asset, create.
Well,
you know,
let's take. So we take the 1, 2 to stack up that momentum.
'cause that's max out at 6. And then
yeah,
you've
and then
got-
we've got 2 extra.
still got 3
so-
extra.
Yeah, create a
So
trait.
yeah, I mean, create a trait or. Okay, yeah, I want to create a trait that helps out Logan in his questioning.
Or you
these
could create an
guys coming
asset
up.
like
Maybe-
a Mala pistol, or we're all armed, or what something.
Maybe
risky.
maybe the enemy is trait surrounded, in that you've got somebody out back from the house that can make sure nobody's getting out the back, or burst through the back door at the appropriate time to help with the intimidation.
You could literally have an asset or a trait. You could create a trait as in you're surrounded
Yeah.
by maybe
You think you're
getting on
surrounded.
the radio inside the squad car and say, move into position, and make it really obvious.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I totally do that. They think they're
Overwhelm
surrounded.
them.
Yeah. That'll do me. That's good.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Wheel in little Ryan Reynolds and get him to sit there with puppy dog eyes in handcuffs.
He's in one of those Hannibal Lecter masks and stuff in the trolley to wheel him out.
We'll save that one.
Apologies. Yeah, save that one for a sequel, maybe. Okay, so Low Life 2 is countered by You're Surrounded.
Nice.
I like it.
Nice.
And now you're about to intimidate the hell out of Jeremy.
And I'll get you hopefully an assist as well.
Okay. Am I using a focus? Yeah, dirty fighting, I guess.
So it's now
Not
it's
playing
now
fair.
D1.
Is it? Ah, easy.
Well, it was a D3, but then it's had 2
Nice.
points whacked
Oh
out
my
of
god.
it.
Well done.
I added a drive.
Jesus.
There's an 18 and a 19 there, though, so that's a bit spooky.
Not if it's a D1, it's fine, isn't it?
D1's not enough.
Oh, it's close, though. My drive statement I've
It
just
was
added
close.
is I am the law, by the way.
That's the right franchise.
Not really helping out, but I think you did enough by yourself on that one.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of excess momentum in there.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2,
Right,
3,
so that's another
4,
3.
Tell us everything.
6.
another 3.
If this is on the intimidation check, can we keep it as to ask follow-up questions?
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
Because we're already full up. Oh no, did you spend any momentum
I
credits?
spent 3,
Okay, so we need 3
because I
back.
thought it was a
Yeah,
difficulty
so
4.
So yeah, we're back to D3.
It tops us up at
Yeah, so we could just keep the momentum and be topped up.
And remember
Yeah,
that
we knew-
Margot spends 2 for 1 for momentum. So if she spends 1 point, I can ask 2 questions and obtain momentum.
Oh, nice.
So we're getting
Okay,
a
cool.
bonus of that. That's her talent of
Oh, that's
hyper
cool.
awareness.
Spill it, Jamie. I'm sick of tidying up after little Ryan's messes.
So you are successful in doing what is effectively in a social conflict. Now, were you? This didn't feel like a subtle move to me. As in trying
I
to
didn't think
keep
about how
the
to move them.
initiative. It's more of a. But you did say you wanted to insinuate, so maybe it could have been. Would you have wanted this to be a subtle move or a bold move as you make your first play in this back and forth with the Reynolds?
If it was a bold move, the advantage is I can move one of their assets, right?
You can.
Right.
Has he got any assets? Is his little gang of armed children
separate-
his asset?
Yeah, I mean they're a little way away. You could kind of sort of maneuver yourself between.
And
y-
remember, one of those assets could be information. You could move that into play, make him talk to you.
Yeah,
Ooh, cerebral.
Doesn't have to be a physical asset.
I shall force him to spawn an asset that I want.
So I mean, he's got the backup of his gang. That's one asset that he has. I mean, judging from his gear, the sort of like heavy jacket that he's got on, and all the layers, and the emo and the makeup, he's probably got something concealed around his person. There might be another asset there. And then there's the other untangible assets, the non-tangible assets of his brother.
Maybe you're so bold that the gang decides to back down.
What I was thinking is if I come in really hot, I could move him away from his gang, so they would kind of like get sort of
Definitely.
kettled, essentially.
Yeah.
So like,
You could probably
Yeah.
charge him into the shop up the stairs, and they're
I was
all
thinking the
outside.
shop or a side alley. I'm not fussed, whichever way he goes. Path of least resistance.
Yeah, where he backs up into the shop. If you're going to do a bold move, then you can move that asset of the gang away from him by moving him into the shop. That's
Yeah,
nice.
let's do that.
Now, Sister Margot. What have we got going on with your good self there? I mean, so that's now
It wasn't
You could spend 2 momentum to keep the initiative, but was Sister Margot going to do anything to assist? I didn't want to make sure I didn't.
I
miss you.
did roll an assist and I did not pass.
Ah, okay. I just want to make sure.
That's that 17, that communication. It was
No complication
less
either.
than epic. But that's okay.
S-
Doesn't always have to be you.
You can keep 2. You can spend 2 momentum now to keep the initiative, or you can let it fly, and then it will be Reynolds' turn as you come in strong.
Yeah, see what you got.
All right, yeah. You let this scrawny kid speak. All right, so it's his turn. He sort of like coming away. You don't intimidate me. Coming in here, stamping around with your money and your suits and your flash cars and your friends. He looks quite intimidated, actually. So he's going to do. He's going to do a subtle move because he'd quite like to keep the initiative. And I'm going to spend. I'm going to spend a threat to give him another dice. 3d20. Oh, it's 3d20. What did he got? An 8 and a 4 is 2 successes. Didn't have a focus,
No
so
focus.
he doesn't. No. So he sort of like manages 2 successes. But hang on a minute. This
What's
being
the difficulty for him?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why
Yeah,
I'm asked
beforehand.
why I want him to try it.
Isn't the standard
because
difficulty for a move too?
I've got that,
Yeah.
you see. So I want to make him fail an understand or communicate test against me.
Nice.
But I realise I don't really know how you make him fail.
When an opponent fails an understand or communicate test against you, you may immediately create a trait. I think you can make him fail.
No. I
unless
mean,
you...
I don't know
No,
how
but
he
you would
fails.
set a difficulty.
Is that for
then
contested
pass, huh?
rolls specifically?
I don't think it has to be, does it?
Doesn't say.
It says when an opponent fails an understand or
Fails,
communicate test
yeah.
against you. Well, he's just made it.
Yeah. Well, if
There's
he's
difficulty
if he
rating
passes
2,
a
he did
test,
2.
then
Yeah.
it's no good anyway.
You can't apply it as of now. Yeah, so he's sort of like holding court, really. Sort of like saying, you don't think that I don't have any advantages being on my home turf here, and he looks over at his homeboy who works behind the counter. Cherie here, she knows the score. She's got heavy makeup. Some banging tunes on inside the convenience store as well. Some
Oh,
really
man,
awful ecstasy grunge.
the slums are the
Yeah.
place to be on ecstasy.
They are kicking off, yeah. Yeah, there's just rows of liquor and other semi-dubious legal intoxicants. So he's done a subtle move, which means he gets to retain the initiative without spending momentum.
But
Except that.
can you
yeah.
just go back up to that talent I used? In addition,
Oh,
once
let's
per
go back to
scene,
that.
when he chooses to keep the initiative, it increased the cost by +2.
Ah, balls.
So you'll have to spend 2 of that threat.
Ha! Okay, nicely done.
Nice.
I
play,
like
Nick.
it.
Yeah, he tries to keep the initiative, he looks out the window and he's just glaring through.
It's just that, yeah. There's, you know, maybe you've just left the police lights on, and it's just
Yeah.
flickering through the Venetian blinds, yeah, cutting across the green neon. And Cherie's just shaking her head like she doesn't want this shit on her turf because of what's going. The Popo are outside, the Popo are inside. Nicely done. So he gets to keep the initiative, but it did cost +2. So that's great. Yeah, I mean, he slips his hand in his jacket and he has a short blade. And, you know, he wants to make you fully acquainted with it. He might be escalating this more into a duel, but he's going to threaten you with a knife and see if that helps as a bold move. So he's just threatening you with it, really, moving into the vicinity. You know, it's going to be one of those flick knives as well. You know, unnecessarily complicated, like a balisong knife, where if you don't practice it with it all the time, it just you know you just lacerate yourself or look like an idiot.
Yeah,
or
like
both.
butterfly knife or something.
Yeah. So he's just flicking it around, really, sort of like impressively, in a haphazard sort of way. Yeah, so that will be going to be a battle move. I've only got one threat left, and I like this little scrawny kid, and I'm going to use a threat to give him an extra dice, so I'll make it 3. Normal difficulty level will be a 2.
Is this to do an attack?
No, it's just to do a threatening
okay.
maneuver.
Right.
And move his nice knife asset into my stomach.
Area. Really. I mean, it could turn into an attack.
Sure.
Just trying to intimidate you.
Oh,
he's down.
He's tricky little git, isn't he?
Yeah. And he has got a short blades focus. He's shivving. That's his focus. Getting there, he's down.
Shivving.
So that gives him a crit on 2 and a success. So that's 3 successes. So 1 bonus success. Yeah, so he's coming on hard and strong.
So was he trying to generate a trait?
Well, I was just trying to remind me, when you move an asset boldly, you get to move an asset of an opponent, do you not?
When you do a bold move, you get to move an asset of theirs.
So I'm going to say that what he does...
But he'd already moved, right? Or am I getting confused?
He kept the initiative. So
kept the initiative.
So he moved, kept the
Oh,
initiative.
yeah. But that means someone else in his team has to go, right? Not him.
Usually.
If he has multiple people in the team, yeah.
Unless he spends a point of determination, then he can have a second go.
Fair point. I'll just spaff his determination then. So it's him doing it.
Bless him.
Oh, look at that. He's got a point of determination that I'll spend. Look at
Yeah.
that.
So, to keep the narrative flow going, I think what he does is then, you know, as he's threatening you with the knife, he looks over at Cherie and says, lock the doors. So he's cutting off ease of access to your assets, which is your friends outside. And she hits a button under the counter, and you hear boom, boom. You know, the doors sealing off.
Oh, I thought we were all in there with him.
Could be. We haven't determined that yet. I just want to apply a way of him getting to move an asset away from him, so that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
What else could you do? Well, that seemed like a really neat way of doing it, but now it doesn't feel so neat.
That's all right. We can run round the back. It's fine. We'll run round the back way.
doesn't stop you getting past it, just makes it a bit more difficult because you're going to have to go through a zone to get round to it.
Sure.
That's all. So it has completely knocked you out of it. But the initiative turns over to you. Who
Well,
wants to
I
take
wanted
it?
to target his asset, but I guess that's something else. We're not in that room with them, right? We're locked. The two of us are locked outside, and
Because he was closest, he went over the road and up
Sure.
the stairs and immediately charged him into the shop. I read that as he was in the lead because you were still on the blower, giving it all the well, rather the I can't remember your name off the top of my head because you've changed characters now. It's the downside of team play.
Jula.
Whereas, like, I'm so used. Jula, you're on the blower, creating the image of them all being surrounded.
Sure, yeah, sure.
I didn't quite. I'm happy for.
It's cool. We could just like
Hang
go
on.
in the side.
No, let me
door or
finish.
something.
I'm happy for Sister Margot for you to be wherever you want to be. If you want to just manage to nip in, because you do read threat really quickly, and you weren't busy. You could have hightailed it on after him and gone in under his heels, and then we'll have one asset outside, one asset inside. That's fine by me. Makes sense.
yeah. Nick, you good with that? You okay with me?
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
that?
cool, yeah.
Okay.
That's cool, yeah.
Yep.
Then I'm looking at the section here where I'm trying to literally. I want with my Prana Bindu move. I want to move, and as he's flicking the knife, I just want to snatch it out of his hand. like stop playing around. We are serious. You are not a serious person. Stop playing around. We do not have time for this.
So this is a physical action of grabbing the knife out of his hand.
Exactly.
So I could interpret that as a battle or as a move.
Sure. I wanted to use her nerve quickness, almost using it to remove the asset. So I'm saying the targeting asset. It doesn't say one or the other. You select the asset you wish to target, describe how you're trying to remove that asset from play, and make a skill test. Typically speaking, targeting the asset is a skill test with a difficulty of 2. If the asset is being wielded as an object, then it is a contest instead. So, like an object in their hands, we'll do a
Yeah,
contest.
it seems like a contest then, and then and it's a move to disarm. I'd say it was a battle.
Sure.
It was quite battle-y to me. Alright then, so I set the difficulty level, do I not? Giving him a battle. I have no threat because it's all been bled away
Oh, that's
from
a
me.
shame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's alright. You're gonna roll 2 1s. It'll be fine.
Got 1 for a success of 2.
See? There you go. Nice. All right. Well, then I will. What do you think? Can I spend a point of this momentum, gang? So we seem to have it.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
I've
sure,
got
it's
loads.
the stuff.
Great.
Follow your heart.
Thanks. We'll spend 3 dice, and we will have a focus of precise. Only got 1. Can I use my talent? Oh, it's on Prana Bindu to reroll. Oh, it has to be a move or discipline test. Interesting. I think that's why I wanted to use move earlier. That's okay.
Hell, use it as a move. Go on.
And I can re-roll 1d20, so I'll re-roll one of those.
I mean, I could assist maybe, if that would be another way around it.
Say again?
I could assist maybe. That would help.
Sure. Distract him while I snatch it out of his hand. See if you one.
Yeah, make myself look
Yeah.
big. I've got to find my character sheet first, though. So let's battle again. Let's go with power. I am the law. 1
I
dice
am the
to
law.
assist.
I'm below.
Because
Start reading him his Miranda rights early.
There you go.
I got a help.
Nice.
What would Mrs. Reynolds think?
About Mrs. Reynolds' sink. No complications there then, but 2 successes.
Yeah. I don't want to
it.
hurt him. I just want to impress him enough that like I'm not trying to damage him. I'm just trying to snatch it out of his hands and hold it stop playing around.
Yeah. So you sort of like catch it as he's in one of his complicated sort of like flips and intersect it just at the right point to catch the handle as opposed to sort of like get caught up in the blade, so just spit on second sort of like split second sort of like timing.
Right.
Perfect. And his eyes go, whoa, wide a bit. Nicely done. Yeah, I mean that has neutralized his asset, so you can't execute a social attack or a physical attack at this point because you've neutralized it. What now then?
And then she'll just say, "Shuri, keep that door locked," implying that we're locking them in, not the other way around now.
Okay. Did you want to keep the initiative with a momentum spend, or did you want to hand it over?
Up to you. I think Nick would be up next. Do you have something you wanted to do?
No, I mean, I guess all I would do is try and get in. But
So as you're heading over the road, you are seeing that the gang that's sort of like been in the alleyway and sort of like out on the forecourt is getting more and more interested in what's happened to their gang leader, who's sort of like inside. They're starting to sort of like crowd up around the windows.
I'm gonna go and chat to them. I'm just gonna chat to them. Hey, look, what's going on in there with these guys?
Or start another conflict outside.
Sure.
End up with a skirmish.
15 lads or whatever.
15 lads and your good self, Doctor. Okay. So, is that what you're wanting to do with your turn?
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Chat to all these lads.
And they're sort of, I mean, you're not in conflict with them, but they are.
I'm just gonna like jolly them onto my side.
Trying to jolly them
like,
onto.
Hey, did you see that copper barge that lad into there? It's rough, isn't he? He's a loose cannon, that lad. Just like side with these lads.
Yeah, you could try and create a scene trait. Which would, I mean, it costs momentum spend generally to create a sort of like scene trait that would benefit everybody on the scene on your side. As in, keeping the gang entertained. Something like that.
Sure.
Or distracted.
I could do
Gang's
that.
distracted.
So I think that can also be your action. Is to try
Yeah,
and create
yeah.
a trait, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Don't
Don't you
D2
do
test normally.
a D2 test? Yeah, okay, I'll do
Yeah.
that. So I'll do, how many we still got? 5. I'll do, I guess it's communicate, right? To talk to all these lads.
Yeah, if you want to, if you're doing it sort of like verbally, yeah. So communicate.
Yeah, I'll do communicate skill to chat.
So it'll cost 2 to keep the initiative there, which gives so we'll have 3 left.
Oh, don't worry about it then. I don't need to do it. I can do that after.
You can do it on your turn. Because
Yeah,
then it
yeah.
becomes their turn. I just want to make sure
Yeah,
if there's
yeah,
anything
yeah.
you wanted to do. I just didn't know if you
No, it's cool. I'm not in a rush to go and tangle with a bunch of hoodlums.
Right.
All right. So as you're sort of
I'll
like
see what he does.
making your way over there, assessing the situation,
Yeah,
sort
I'm
of
just
like seeing
sauntering
how the gang
over.
are, sauntering over. They're all sort of like piled up, trying to get a decent view through the Venetian blinds. You can see that, you know, some of them have improvised weapons on them, you know, which looks like lengths of pipe and chain and stuff like that. But you're not keeping the momentum at this point. So it's over to the other side. Now he's already taken his action. Then he's
So now we
pushed
do the gang
it.
members or Shuri's.
It's the gang members, yeah, or Cherie.
Sure.
Cherie. Yeah, Cherie is who's under the counter and gets out a gun. Sticks it on the
good.
top of the counter.
Oh, good.
And she points it at Reynolds. Says, "Reynolds, you're a fucking dickhead creating trouble." She doesn't like the look of you two, him, the cop, and you just whatever you are. She's never seen a sister before. But she identifies that the main threat is having this gang leader in her shop. So she's on your side. Can I borrow some of your momentum? That's her move. She's doing a move, I guess, really to sort of like move an asset into the sort of like conflict. I'll give her sort of like 2 dice. And she's going to use the focus sassy. She's got 1. It's really not as well executed as one would have liked. She's fumbling with the keys.
Very nervous about it, yeah.
I've got to, yeah, very nervous, but it's really quite obvious that she's going for some, you know, the shop store convenience weapon, and she's sort of like cursing, but she doesn't manage to leverage that asset into the situation. Flips back onto your side.
That makes you out there, I think.
Yeah. So that's what I'd do then. I'd saunter over to these lads and
Right, execute your
like
move.
look through the window and be like, "Oh shit! Look, she's pulled a gun on your pal. Oh no."
What's she doing for? She's going for a gun, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, what's he gonna do now? And just like that, pally up to him and I
Yeah.
guess, you know, pass some medical grade cigs around the group. You know what I mean? And
Medical grade death sticks, yeah.
yeah.
Want a death stick? I want to rethink my life.
Yeah.
Wrong franchise. There we go.
So I'll use.
So how many long franchises can we
And we've
get?
been like that. We've been.
I'm gonna
sued by
use.
Lucas.
I'm gonna use communicate. I'm gonna use my faith statement. I think, which is I believe in my house. So I could see inside they seem to be doing all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And chatting to these lads, I'm going to use the focus of charm. If I can get away with that.
Definitely no. Yeah, that's good.
And how many momentum have we got? Have we got enough to buy one?
Yeah, we got 5. We got a pool of 5.
5 in the
Oh
pot.
yeah. So
easily
I'm going to
spend
buy
one.
one. Yeah. I'll
Going
buy
your
one.
way so far. You handle these
Using a
gang
focus.
members.
There you go. Oh my god! Seriously,
Wow, complication.
that. I've upset. These lads don't smoke clearly.
Fucking hell no. They don't like the look. They don't like the cut of your jib. It's the way you dress. And
Yeah.
also, obviously, you were
In
Don't
Wearing
make
the
them
same
think-
uniform as them.
And they saw you coming out of the same car.
saw
Well,
you come
yeah,
out the
I
same
mean,
car
yeah.
doing the whole you're surrounded gig. They ain't.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah,
monsters.
fair enough.
Yes. The complication is the complication is they do a little holler chant, you know, like a little group rap,
Hacker.
and 4 more of them come walking from an adjacent alley over towards you. They're calling in reinforcements. They go, "What's up, yo? What's up, bitch? What's up, yo?" That's your complication, is that you've now got more gang members to deal with.
What was the? I didn't even ask you. I think what was the difficulty on that?
It would have been D2.
No advancement yet. Then. That's all right. There's more lads now. I'll get an advancement point next time.
Yeah.
Now, have we done everybody in the turn? Are we end of the turn cycle?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've
three
done
of
a
us.
round.
Yeah, brilliant. And I feel the need for a swift break, and then we'll cut back and see what's happening with the other situation, which I've completely forgotten what was going on.
Getting information from the broker. Yeah,
Ah,
that'll work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Even more chaotic situation because of all the swarms of grey children all going to pull out their guns soon.
Brilliant. Quick cup of tea and then
Yeah, right. Seems so.
and then he'll hand over the name of the person who made a request of offence. How much is a piece of Arakeen art painting worth, with the provenance that it is has imperial provenance?
It is quite
So
large.
we left it quite large. Yeah, it's a 1-to-1 scale. So that's where we left it, and you step back up to the booth, and broker. I imagine for some reason the broker has one of those little hats that poker dealers wear, keep the glare off their eyes. Don't know why. I imagine they have something like that, some piece of headwear which is functional for their work to keep, the art exhibition gallery space lighting for them as they refer down to documents, probably dodgy ledgers they must have. And he looks back up at you and says, have you made your decision about which exhibition space you want to visit today? Says Justin.
Yes. I'm filled with optimism about the ability of your gallery to outcompete that of others.
Well, we are a superior entertainment space, and all about making sure that what happens to our mutual enjoyment. Listen, you gonna nobble him or what?
Let me know where to find him.
He'll hand you another leaflet, inside of which are the contact details of his rival. And then he just will then say to you, Reyla Keftair asked this impertinent question. My fence friend.
Sorry, you broke up. Either my signal or your signal broke up for a second. What's the name?
Reyla Keftair.
Yes.
Name in chat.
Any idea where I can find them?
There's there's a place out on suburbs on the southwest side. Once you get past the resorts and the services, then you get out really to the far end of the neighborhood. In a place called the Green. I think it was an old golf resort that didn't really kind of mesh, and it's been turned in. It's become housing for those who really can't afford a better place. And he'll just scribble down for you a street address in the Green.
Good to know. A pleasure doing business here.
As ever, says, tipping his little green hat. Is there anything else you need?
No, I say we give this Ella Karen a visit.
Sounds
Yeah,
promising.
of course I didn't send you.
Of course
Of
not.
course.
No. Um, so you can head off back down into your boat and
Yes.
yeah, this has happened sort of like simultaneously, so well, that was such a swift scene. I was expecting more, but we kind of were at the end of it, weren't we? We were just waiting in the queue. But you can sort of like head down to the boat and sort of like figure out your next move. Are you going to sort of like, it's not far from where you are, sort of like head over towards the green and then send a communique to the house or to your colleagues to come and join you? I don't know what kind of situation they're in. What do you think your next move would be out of this scene for you?
Well, yeah, I think I'd be inclined to go towards the green. It's quite a time-sensitive situation, but obviously discuss it with Reyla. So,
I'm in agreement.
All right, so you pile down to the jetty. Then you hop on board the little pleasure boat, which has a sizable engine on it. You know, just in case you need to get to fishing fast. And you sort of like power it up. And you know, start carving your way, sort of like skipping, sort of like across the sort of like waves to this section of green. Hopefully, trying to locate this Ella Karen character. Won't take you long to get there, but logistically, we need to tie up what's going on in Street Gang Central, because you might be on your own facing off with Ella Karan, or you might be able to take the rest of your crew with you or have them join up. Unless there's anything else you want to do you want to report in or just head straight on?
So, I would like to check in with the rest of the B-Team, but this raises the complicated question of exactly like where we both are in our narratives.
Yeah, that's my problem. You know,
Maybe we'll let them get out of their immediate conflict, and then we can connect.
I think it's really. I mean, you've had a lot of waiting around for crowds going about. They've had a drive, whereas you've been on the boat. You know, it's pretty much in parallel at the moment. So if you were to call them now, depends on who you call as to how funny it would be.
So which one? Who has a communinet? You Hickey.
I think that's
Let's
Jula
ask
who
the
was on the
others.
squawk box, right?
Yeah, that's true. He's currently in front of a lot of gang youths right now.
Yeah, hang on, I've got a call. Just give me a second. Like,
Guys, really interested,
Be right
really
back.
interested in getting beat down by you all.
Yeah,
but
one
I have
sec, I'll be right
opportunity
back.
just one second. I gotta take this.
Yeah.
Might be
Yeah,
important.
it's really
It might be work. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Chief on the line. Time
it's my
is
mum.
money.
I've got to talk to her.
It's my mum calling. Yeah, go ahead. Have your cross scene conversation. 'Cause it's getting a bit fraught inside, but yeah. What do you say to each other?
Dr. Eula?
Yeah, hang on, lads. I get the phone. Yeah,
How are things going?
great, fabulous.
That's good,
I
that's
tap on the window. To you two. Phone. To you two inside. Sister Margot. Detective. It's important. It's one of these big phones.
Trying to interrupt this.
the glass is
I
soundproof.
don't think I'm
I can't
turning
hear you.
round. I've got the guy in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our lead turned into another good lead that we're going to follow up on over in the green.
Okay, in the green, great.
In the background. Put the weapon down!
You're saying it has nothing to do with the gang, right? I'll let them know. Okay,
yeah.
thanks.
Okay, so
Like-
we don't need the gang at all, right? No problem. Okay. No, I'll try and weasel my way around through the crowd to get into these two, or see how you guys are doing in there.
Yeah, whose turn is it in this conflict? Is in the middle of this call? Who has time in the middle of a rough social conflict, perhaps fight, to take a phone call? The answer is Jula Macoy.
I do, yeah.
Well,
Sorry,
doctor,
Jula.
I'm a telephone operator.
Actually, this kind of makes sense. Like, I'm on call. I have to take this.
Yeah, I'm a doctor. Yeah, I'm a doctor. Very good.
Yeah.
I point to the car and it's got that doctor on call sign on the front.
And the police light on the top, which is
Yeah,
Please.
we're sending mixed
I really have
messages.
this. You'd
It was the
think a
closest
doctor
we could
wouldn't have
get to an
carpool.
ambulance. All the ambulances were out. We just had to take this panda car.
It's the riot ambulance.
Yeah.
So I think we've done the whole loop. So
we have.
Anyone.
and I've got no threat spent to intercede. So
Not at
you
all.
know, it's whoever wants to go next on your side.
He's been
He's got
disarmed,
Logan,
right?
You're like,
This
let's
guy.
Get the info that we need from this guy.
Yeah.
Seen anything?
This guy's like been disarmed and he's a bit discombobulated and the door's shut, so I'm going to arrest him. I think. So we can get information out of him quick.
Yeah. Okay. You want to arrest him?
Well, yeah, I want to kind of, get the arm behind
some
the back
cuffs
and
on him.
smack him face on the counter so that he can be interrogated by someone who's good at talking, probably.
Law enforcement. I think you have an opportunity here, really, to execute an attack, as in slam some cuffs on him.
Yeah, I'm going to do that as well. I think.
Yeah,
As long as I can get the face into the counter at least once.
face
that's
into
all
the
good.
counter, the shiny counter. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you want to do? This will be.
I thought you were going to say this is a wonderful opportunity to execute someone. When you said that.
Yes, you're about to. Oh, yes, we're about to slap
Smash someone's face into the camera.
Jeremy
Face
Reynolds
slam,
face
cuffs
into the
on,
counter.
yeah.
Nice. Okay, so it's an oppositional. So he
Slap
sets the
Jeremy in
difficulty rating.
irons.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rotten
sorry,
game.
I
That game we
tried.
needed. Jeremy Irons is a troll in the Denizens game.
Is he really?
Ah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
2d20. I've got no threat, so it's going to have to be
Plus.
2.
Hmm.
He's got his
You always
focus on
just give up.
blades.
Yeah.
Could do. But where's the fun in that?
Indeed.
We've got
Rolling it.
one success.
Alrighty.
His target number is less than 13. That's rough.
Yep.
So we'll take its battle
Good drugs,
to
kids.
grapple him down.
Yeah.
Use power, which I've changed to I play by my own rules.
Nice. I am the law. I write my own law. Yeah.
Yeah. I could change it again. I'll see how it goes. I'll use an momentum to get me up to 3 dice, I think. And I'll use my focus of dirty fighting. Maybe I'll kick him in the shins or something on his way down. I guess slamming his face into the counter is kind of dirty fighting, right?
Feels fairly dirty, yeah. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff on the counter that you could slam his face through
Yeah.
to.
Pull his t-shirt over his head so he can't
All
see.
that.
you know,
Veggie! Yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
Headbutting. Oh, get in.
Ooh, nice. So what's that? A crit and a success and a fail. That's more than enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've defeated him with that maneuver, and he is defeated. You can make it a lasting defeat if you want, which requires momentum spend. But if you would just want him basically neutralised in this scene, then you've got that.
Yeah, I just want him neutralised. And going with the, if you tell us what we want now, we'll be out of your hair. But if you don't, make life hard for us, we'll have a whole squad down here and they'll flatten out every one of you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, saw this woman. She was hanging around, casing the joint. After a delivery was made late yesterday evening, big delivery, lot of security. And then we saw this woman, and she was clearly casing the place, and she scurried off, and he'll give you a description.
Sure.
Sort of like icy female, 5'2". All the distinguishing features, sort of like young. So it's a fairly decent description, but nothing more sort of like specific than that, unless you want to leverage some of that momentum you've got to obtain more information.
We can ask a couple of questions, like specifically if you know who,
I think we should. I might need some help.
Momentum would give us two questions if we wanted to.
So this woman, he saw her casing the joint. He didn't see her leaving with a very large, very square package.
No, she just seemed to be hanging around the storage depot, keeping a very close eye on what was going on. Nothing like what you're describing. And she was there the whole time, keeping a low profile, watching what was going on. When big detail with an ornithopter landing in this area, let alone 2 ornithopters landing in this area with all the branding, one of which had House Obscura sort of like signage on it. It's a big deal. Nothing like what you're describing or asking about happened, but he did see this young woman picking the place out.
Can we find out where we could find her for a momentum spend, or is that a step too far?
Oh, you can.
Well, I reckon that's a good start then.
So momentum spend. This is obtain information.
Yeah.
Any talents you can leverage here?
If I spend it, I can ask questions and ask 2 for every one if we want.
Yeah, this might be time to leverage the good sister.
Alright, I'll just hold his face on the counter while you asking questions then. I mean, what I was thinking was that because he's like, this is his turf, so he keeps an eye on everything. If there was someone suspicious, he might have had her followed.
Where did she go? Yeah, when she left here. You know everything that goes on in your territory. Where did she go when she left here?
Yeah, you think you're Bobby Big Bollocks. Surely you know where they're gone.
Well, I didn't know I was going to get a new favorite phrase today, but...
Bobby Big Bollocks is the new one.
Bobby Big Bollocks.
Alliteration. Pretty impressive.
He says, sort of like looking pretty terrified of you. I mean, first of all, you sort of like interrupted his balisong knife without appearing to sort of like think about it. Now he's got his facial cheeks squished to the perspex, and he's got a decent look at you with your countenance, and the soft way you ask questions make it clear that only correct answers must be given, and the way you sort of see through him. Says, yeah, I had Walter follow her, and he tailed her into the outskirts of the green.
See? Now we're communicating. Now we can talk to each other. And what about a second question? And
Where do you
where's
spend momentum? Yeah.
Yes, and what did he said? Water?
Yeah, Walter.
Walter.
Yeah, it's his gang
And,
member whom he sent after her.
And where's Walter now? Is he outside?
I haven't seen him.
You're gonna have to get better at this part of the job if you want to be a gang leader for more than the next 5 minutes.
It's like
You're gonna really need to focus here.
saying that I haven't seen him. I mean, I'm not being a pain. Like, he reported back in and said where he was, and I said be careful, and I haven't seen him since.
So,
I've got a description. We know where she's gone, so gives us somewhere to look, I guess.
okay, I'm gonna hand the knife over to Cherie, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna have Cherie hold on to this for you because I think.
Yeah, she's just about managed to get the gun out.
Yeah. Yeah, like, here you go. Cherie's gonna hold on to
A
this.
knife and a gun
think-
now.
Yeah, like you're I
Yeah.
think you're more dangerous to yourself with this. So
She also flips the door release.
sure.
And the gang that's been watching sort of like outside has seen their gang leader basically be completely neutralized. And you're outside with them, Jula, having just received this call. They were maybe becoming a bit hostile towards you because of the complication.
Sure.
And these 4 others are coming over, the real beefy types. But you know, when they see that Jeremy has just been humiliated in this way, you know, they just start laughing. You know, and
Could I
taunting
do
him.
something about that? Because
Yeah.
I'd quite like to like drag Jeremy out through like the back doors and let him go. Like just tell him to keep his nose clean and just shove him off the step. And then come back in the shop and he got away. Come on, let's
Yeah.
go. And then
You
try
let him
and
save
leave.
face a little bit, like
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's.
'cause you didn't want it to be a lasting defeat, so that's
I know
fair.
your mum, you know. Little
okay,
Jeremy
your dad.
Reynolds.
I know you.
Yeah, I know your dad.
What's Eula doing in all this? You know, as things unfold.
Sweating. And then I guess like if he sees like it's all got sorted out in there, then I'd just be like, oh, it looks like we're done then, right? I'm off then. See you later. You know what I mean?
Sort of like, yeah.
Slide over to. I guess Cherie opens the door and lets these out. Oh, just go.
Yeah,
I'll just wait in the car. I'll just be in the car. I'll go in.
The
Get
doors
the
are
car
unlocked.
started. Warm it up.
Yeah, as Logan strides out with, I mean, Sister Margot seems to be more terrifying than any other character I've met thus far. The way she deals with things, I don't think they've ever encountered anyone of her ilk, sort of like before. But you do see this sort of like crowd of sort of like kids. That's what they are, really. You know, the older variety, just sort of like move apart like the seas as you emerge, and that enables you easily, Eula, to sort of like sort of slink away, maybe trying to shoot the breeze with them passing. Yeah, catch you hip kids next time. Yeah. Yeah, and some of them are giving
come
you
and
the
see me
dabs.
if you ever get shot.
The
I'll
high
sort that
fives.
right out. If you can't afford to go to a proper hospital, come and see me. I'll do it on the cheap.
Oh, you run the mission, yeah?
Sure.
You're involved in that, are you?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
my
yeah.
cousin Greco, he went there once. after he got stabbed. There's one of them.
Oh yeah, I described Greco. Oh yeah, I saw him. I remember that kid. Yeah.
He hasn't
How's he
walked
doing?
straight since. He's a bit limpy.
Oh yeah.
Constantly leans left because
Yeah. Walks in a circle.
he just walks in a circle.
They call him Lefty Greco now.
Oh right. Well.
Yeah, he got a really cool nickname, so what's he worried about?
Yeah. Yeah, and a cool scar. I remember.
It's probably at this point that there is, that there's the sound of other law enforcement officers sort of like arriving, because during this encounter, one of the things that Cherie did was hit the silent
Panic
alarm.
button. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Nah, smart
We'll be
girl.
off now.
Yeah. But you can exit, and
Yeah, I fill the others in on the phone call and then head over to rendezvous at the Green, I guess.
Yeah, they mentioned the green in there as well.
Oh, nice.
And I'll explain to her that they said something about how the woman who was here casing the joint, they tailed her to the green, but whoever tailed her never made it back.
Walter, he probably just went to the pub after or something. Probably fine.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Probably fine.
Yeah, I'm sure nothing untoward happened to him. Yeah.
Sure.
hopefully not. And I guess then it sounds like you sort of like hook up on the intercom with your other guys, sort of like perhaps sort of like and coordinate so that you can meet up over at the suburbs of the Green. So we've got, you're heading over there via the boat route, and then Logan will floor it via a series of
On like
interstate
seatbelt
highways. Yeah, yeah. There will be a yeah. You can't use that bridge after 8 p.m. Sort of.
He's not
It's
listening.
that
He's
rise
in
and
another
bridge thing where
internal
it ramps
monologue.
over.
He's in the middle of another internal monologue as he sort of like floors this slick DeLorean style car towards the suburbs of the Green. And I think time sort of like catching up with this, that would be a good place to sort of like leave it.
Yeah, cool.
Join
Sound.
forces with you, trying to catch up with Ella Karan. Find out what her game is all about.
Cool.
Nice
Yeah,
one.
that's cool.
Lovely. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm digging all the new characters.
The new interactions are going to be fun. Yeah.
I can relax now.
Yeah.
After I hit that stop record button, I feel my anxiety levels go down about 3
Aw.
notches.
Aw.
Oh.
It's not that bad.